Hello and welcome, dear travellers, to another episode of Whispers from the Campfire, where the flames of our stories cast shadows on the unknown. I was thinking just the other day that I would like to place some artwork around my house. I researched some pieces, and in the world of art, certain paintings evoke emotions, joy, sorrow, nostalgia, which is what I wanted. But then I wondered, what if a painting could bring something far more sinister? And that's when I found it. So today, we dive into the eerie legend of the Crying Boy paintings, a series of artworks said to be cursed, linked to a string of inexplicable fires that have left people terrified for decades. The Crying Boy paintings were created by an Italian artist by the name Giovanni Brigolin. However, Giovanni Brigolin never actually existed. This name was a pseudonym for Spanish painter Bruno Amadio. Bruno was one of the most mysterious artists of the mid-1900s. He painted over 60 portraits of the Crying Boy collection from the 1950s to the 1980s, which then ended up being mass-produced. The depiction was of a tearful child, and this brought negative attention to Bruno, raising speculations of abuse as to whether he forced the boy to cry in one way or another. This was the only piece of Amadio's that saw true success and became incredibly popular, especially in the post-war Europe era. But behind the innocent, sorrowful eyes of these children, a darkened narrative began to emerge. Despite speculation, Amadio stated that the subject in one of his paintings was a little street urchin, an orphan, he came across in the 1960s. He stated that the boy had a sorrowful expression that instantly captivated the artist, which he was later informed by a priest that the young boy had just run away after seeing his parents die in a fire. But Amadio painted dozens of variations, each child with a different expression of despair. But why? Some say these paintings were a reflection of the suffering Amadio witnessed during World War II, while others speculate a more tragic origin. If we follow the story of the young orphan that Amadio said, the orphan was named Don Bonillo. Bruno decided to adopt Don and took him back to his apartment, where Bruno began to create the Crying Boy paintings. However, it would soon come to light that wherever Don went, fires of unknown origin would break out, effectively giving Don the nickname Diablo, or the Devil. One of the earliest fires happened with Amadio, as his studio and apartment mysteriously caught on fire one day and he lost everything. He remembered back to when he met Don. The priest warned Bruno not to adopt him, and on remembering this, he kicked Don Bonillo out, never to see him again. Bruno's luck did not improve, however, as reports of the curse of the Crying Boy paintings spread across Europe, leading to no one wanting to buy or produce these paintings out of fear of this curse. We do know what happened to Don in the end. In 1976, police responded to the reports of a crash outside Barcelona. On arriving, they saw the car to explode and catch on fire, and they could see remnants of a person in the front seat, but they were burnt beyond recognition. Once the fire settled, they searched the remnants of the car to find a driver's license in the glove box that was burnt around the edges, but kept intact was the driver's picture and his name, Don Bonillo. This added to the already popular cursed story of the Crying Boy. The real horror stories began in the 1980s in the UK, when a series of mysterious house fires were reported. In 1985, Ron and Mary Hall from Rotherham experienced a house fire that destroyed everything on the first floor of their terraced home. That is, everything besides a painting in the living room, a painting of a crying young boy that was found face down on the ground with only slightly charred edges. From here, the reports of a fire with these paintings found in the charred remains continued to grow. Dora Brand of Mitcham, Surrey, saw her home reduced to a pyre 6 weeks after she bought the painting, and although it was among many others she owned, it was the only one that survived. Sandra Crassi of Kilburn said that she, her sister, her mother, and a friend had all suffered fires since buying copies of the picture. On 21st of October 1985, the Perillo Pizza Palace in Great Yarmouth, Norfolk, was gutted by fire, although its prominently displayed The Crying Boy picture remained in pristine condition. The owner, Domenico Perillo, smashed the painting in hopes that it would not affect anyone else. The crying boy painting was found hours later in a skip bin outside Radio Norfolk's office in Yarmouth. Further to this, on 24th of October 1985, the Godper family of Herringthorpe, South Yorkshire, lost their home to an unexplained fire. The crying boy picture displayed in their living room stayed unmarked, while pictures on either side of it had been completely consumed by the flames. On 25th of October 1985, in Heswall, Merseyside, a pair of paintings hanging in the living and dining rooms of a house belonging to the Amos family were found intact after a gas explosion destroyed the building. In November 1985, one woman from Leeds who destroyed her picture of the crying boy seemed certain that its destruction was to blame for the deaths in a fire of her husband and 3 sons. A Miss Woodford of Forest Hill, London, destroyed her picture, believing it to be responsible for the loss of her son, daughter, husband, and mother in separate house fire-related incidences. On 12th of November 1985, Malcolm Vaughan of Church Down, Gloucestershire, helped to destroy a neighbour's picture. He returned home to find his own living room ablaze for reasons which firemen were unable to explain. December 1985, 67-year-old William Armitage died in a mysterious fire that swept through his house in Weston-super-Mare, Avon. It was discovered that a crying boy picture was found, intact, lying beside the pensioner's charred body. One of the firemen who dealt with the blaze was afterwards quoted as saying, "I've never believed in jinxes up until now, but when you actually come across a picture in a gutted room and it's literally the only thing that hasn't been touched, it is most odd." With many reports circulating, the urban legend grew. However, not everyone agreed with the legend, chalking it up to mere coincidence. Newspapers began to pick up on the eerie pattern. The Sun, a popular British tabloid, ran a headline in 1985 that read, "Blazing Curse of the Crying Boy." The story claimed that over 50 cases of inexplicable fires were linked to the painting. One firefighter, Alan Wilkinson, commented on these stories, stating that he went to over 50 calls to house fires with the paintings being present in the burnt remains, but said that each fire had a direct cause and that the painting being present was just a coincidence. From here, Kelvin Mackenzie, the editor of The Sun, came up with a solution. He told readers to send their paintings to The Sun and they would destroy them once and for all. On Halloween, newspaper staff burnt more than 2,500 copies of the painting, which adds more intrigue to the lore, as how did they manage to burn the paintings that weren't burnt in fires? If you have your own theories, let me know in the comments. Cursed objects are not uncommon in folklore, and the crying boy paintings are a prime example of how human suffering and superstition can intertwine. Some people began to become more intrigued than scared and opted to actually buy the paintings, placing their very livelihoods at risk. In one article, Marta Jari bought a crying boy painting from eBay in 2018. At first, nothing happened. It was after 3 weeks that Marta said strange occurrences started to happen. She would walk past the painting and feel like she wasn't alone. Marta began to feel increasingly anxious around the painting. She would look at him every night when she turned the lights off, and that feeling of a presence grew and grew, beginning to feel more ominous and oppressive. Marta could swear at times that the expression of the boy would change. One night, Marta was looking down the dark hallway towards the living room, something she would no longer usually do. However, in this instance, Marta did and saw the painting hanging above the couch. The colours vivid, but everything around it was pitch black. Marta went to bed and pulled the covers above her head, when suddenly the blinds in her room flew up, snapped off the wall, and rolled away. Marta then looked to try and rid herself of this painting and the supposed curse. However, read that by throwing it away this could make the curse worse. So Marta placed it in her building's storage space, facing the wall to stop the crying boy from haunting her any longer. Before this, in 2011, BBC's Radio 4 had their Punt PI, Steve Punt, investigate the supposed curse of the crying boy. He has a video of himself lighting the painting on fire. In the video, you can see that the painting would catch a light on the edges, but would not fully catch a flame. As the fire burns out, you can see that there's only a slight charring of the painting, but the whole thing remains intact. This video naturally got a lot of attention because the painting remained intact, adding to the already cursed story with now video proof that it wouldn't burn. And while the story of the crying boy curse is chilling, the reality may be less than supernatural. These paintings were printed on a fire-retardant material, which could explain why they often survived these fires. Additionally, the placement of the paintings, often in kitchens or living rooms, could have been a factor, as these rooms are common origins for house fires. Despite the logical explanations, the legend of the crying boy curse persists. Even today, people are hesitant to hang these paintings in their homes. Only those who consider themselves braves will try it. But this is a testament to the enduring power of superstition and fear. Whether you believe in the curse or not, the story of the crying boy paintings is a reminder of how easily fear can take hold of our imaginations. What started as a simple work of art became an icon of misfortune and terror, forever etched in the annals of paranormal history. And so despite what you may think, remember, some stories are more than just legends. Thank you for joining me by the campfire. Would you dare to buy a crying boy painting? Let me know in the comments. But I hope the next time you're looking for an art piece, that you take extra care not to bring anything supernatural home with you. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to like and subscribe to the channel. And as always, keep the fire burning and the stories alive.